Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning back into the broadcast hosted by an atheist with a biblical name. That is St. Andrew TV, of course, and my name is Andrew. Today we are diving back into my Wild West gun collection, and we're going to be looking at the ultimate lever action design as described by firearm historians. The gun we are looking at today is, of course, the Winchester Model 1894 lever action rifle. So let's get into it.
No one on the corner has a wagon like us. Hit me on my burner prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already gonna hell, just pumping that gas. All I wanna do is ching and take your money. All I wanna do is
Now here's some history before we actually look into mine in particular. The Winchester Model 94 was designed in 1894 by John Browning, and it was chambered in two separate metallic black powder cartridges, the 3240 and the 3855 Winchester. However, this rifle became synonymous with the Winchester centerfire, which is a smokeless cartridge. This later became known as the Winchester 3030. Now, this firearm in particular has become very popular with the hunting crowd, especially in the eastern United States, for its ability to take down white-tailed deer. The rifle was so popular that even the US government purchased 1,800 commercial models for some soldiers in World War I. It's also the first sporting rifle to sell over 1 million units, making it the most popular lever-action rifle in history. Now, here are some fun facts. The 1 millionth model was given to President Calvin Coolidge in 1927. The 1.5 million model was given to President Harry S. Truman. Side note, that is my grandma's favorite president, in 1948. And the 2 millionth model was given to Dwight Eisenhower in 1953. Now to date, the Winchester Model 1894 has sold over 7 million units. Like I said earlier, making it the most popular lever-action rifle ever. In mid-1964, the manufacturing process was changed to make the rifle cheaper to build. And that's why you hear a lot of times people say if it's a pre-64 or post-64 Winchester Model 1894. There are some subtle differences, such as the screws on the side of the receiver and the location said screws are placed. Now let's get into the story of why I bought the Winchester Model 1894 in particular. History Channel ran a show called Cowboys and Outlaws, and I think it was episode 5 that talked about the Grim Reaper of the Rockies, Tom Horn. Now, Tom Horn is famous for being an assistant in the capture of Geronimo. He was also a U.S. Scout, Pinkerton agent, you name it. You probably know him best for what he did with some cattle barons up in Wyoming, close to the turn of the century. He was also convicted of the murder of a 14-year-old boy named Willie Nickel, which is a case that has not been solved to this day. He more or less got executed for reputation, more or less. However, the story behind the Winchester Model 94 is Tom Horn was allegedly a big gun enthusiast, and he had to have the latest and greatest models that were on the market. Whilst working for the cattle barons in Wyoming and pushing settlers off the land that the cattle barons wanted, Tom Horn used a Model 1894 Winchester. And this was new to me because I was just getting into the Wild West and learning about what happened during the less tame Victorian era. Knowing Tom Horn had the Winchester Model 1894 chambered in 3030, well, that's the one I had to get. So I went out and bought my very own Winchester Model 1894 chambered in 3030, and I have it right in front of me. This is my Winchester Model 1894 chambered in 3030. I even have a leather sling and a leather stock on it. Now I'm going to go over some unique characteristics about mine in particular. Mine is a post-64. I think this one was manufactured in 1967. I have a model that was built after the manufacturing change. Now, this is a lever action rifle, which means this is how you cock it. It will slide a gun up into the chamber, and then you pull it back down to lock and load it. This is a 20-inch octagon barrel with the magazine sitting right underneath it, as with all 1894s. And like I said earlier, it is chambered in .30-30, which is one of the most popular rounds in firearm history. I mean, it wouldn't have stuck around for almost 130 years if it wasn't highly effective. I'd like to add that somebody was thinking when designing this, because with a breech load like this, you feed that bullet into the magazine like that, you don't have a pointed lead tip, which could accidentally hit that primer that you're jamming the nose of this bullet into. So somebody was using the old noggin there when designing that cartridge. Anyway, I digress. This is actually a Canadian Centennial model, which is a commemorative piece, and my receiver here has the maple leaves on them. It has the 1867 and 1967 Centennial marker on it, and this was actually designated at some point in time as a Canadian military weapon. Now you're probably asking about the sling mount I have attached to it and the leather stock. Well, I actually got these personally made from a place called Buffalo Brand Leather. Sling itself actually has my initials on it and a big bear claw, and it has the nice little weave design on the leather itself. I'm a big fan of personalization when it comes to stuff that you order, and it makes it feel like it's yours, and anyone else who uses it is kind of borrowing it. So that's a nice touch. And then the stock itself carries cartridges, as does the sling. And then on the other side, it has a big grizzly bear paw. Also, you get to learn something about me today. My favorite animal is the grizzly bear. This has standard iron sights, and I know that with the Winchester Model 1894s, this is the most common complaint found with this rifle in particular, but I don't mind them actually. They shoot straight and fast, so I mean, I can't really complain about it too much. Here is the lever, just a standard lever loop. Back when these first came out, you could purchase a Winchester Model 1894 for about $20. Unfortunately, I did not pay $20 for mine. I actually paid somewhere around $800. However, I was pretty much paying for the name. I could have gotten a replica. I wanted the firearm to say Winchester, which it actually does here on the barrel, and it actually says made in USA, so that's what I was looking for. And the commemorative piece was definitely a reason I bought this one instead of a clone of it. Even though I'm a US citizen, I thought the Canadian leave and it being less common for you to see something like that on a Model 1894 or any gun in particular, I just thought putting it all together made it look one of a kind, so to speak. Anyway, now that you've learned about the 1894 and the one that is in my collection, how about I send a few rounds through it so you can hear what it sounds like when it gets fired. And there you have it. That's what it sounds like to shoot a Winchester Model 1894. I appreciate you guys stopping by today for another installment of what's in my Wild West gun collection. I would have to say that this is the gun that I am most capable with. I'm sure anybody with a long arm in their hand is pretty capable. It's easy to shoot, easy to work, easy to clean. Given I haven't shot too many rifles that predate 1900, I would have to say that this ranks right up there. I'm sure there's some list out there going over the best lever action rifles in history. I will leave the link to Buffalo Brand Leather down in the description because I was very impressed with what they did with my sling and stock. Please leave a comment because I do read all of them and I get back to all of them, and I do love to hear from you guys. Leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I really do appreciate it. But for those of you who stumbled across this video and you like me, you like the stuff that I got, or you like the content that I produce, think about subscribing. You're a daisy if you do.